Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, thinking about everything that could go wrong tomorrow? Don't worry about tomorrow. God is in control of everything. But sometimes we forget that, don't we? Anxiety about the future creeps in like a silent shadow and begins to steal our peace, our joy, even our ability to take a deep breath. It's amazing how something that hasn't happened yet can weigh so heavily. The mind becomes a whirlwind of what-ifs. What if I lose my job? What if someone I love gets sick? What if everything falls apart? These thoughts create an invisible weight that we carry alone, trying to foresee every problem, every obstacle, every pain that might come, as if it were our responsibility to control the uncontrollable. The truth is, many people live like this. We live in a time where we are bombarded with bad news, economic crises, and uncertainty from all sides. The pressure to have everything planned, to be in control, to not fail, it's suffocating. And when night falls, there's that tightness in the chest, that feeling of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. But here's something that could change everything. What if I told you that you weren't created to carry this burden? What if there's someone infinitely greater, wiser, more powerful, who is already taking care of every detail of your tomorrow while you sleep? This isn't empty wishful thinking. It's a truth that can transform your life today. Because when we try to control everything on our own, we forget something fundamental. Not worrying about tomorrow isn't irresponsibility. It's trusting in God. It's recognizing that there is a loving Father who knows every hair on your head, every tear you've shed, every fear that haunts you. And He's not just watching from afar. He is actively working on His tomorrow right now. But why is it so difficult to let go of that control? Because there is a war raging within us. On one side, worry whispers, you need to be prepared for everything. You need to have all the answers. On the other side, faith softly says, rest, trust, surrender. And often the fear of the future screams so loudly that the voice of faith can barely be heard. Let me tell you about a man who understood this in a dramatic way. His name was Peter. Imagine the scene. Dawn, a rough sea, giant waves crashing against a fragile boat. The disciples are terrified when they see a figure walking on the water. It's Jesus. And Peter, in that moment of intense faith, cries out, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. Jesus responds with a single word, come. And Peter does the impossible. He gets out of the boat. He's walking on water. But then something revealing happens. Matthew 14:30 says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Do you see what happened? Peter didn't. He sank because of the waves. He sank because he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the problem. Fear silenced his faith. How many times do we do exactly that? We start well, confident, taking steps of faith, but then comes that bad news, that unexpected bill, that frightening diagnosis, and suddenly we're sinking. Not because God has changed, but because we let the storm seem bigger than the one who calms the storms. Faith in uncertain times doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to trust, even when everything around you screams at you to panic. Peter's story doesn't end with him sinking. Jesus immediately reaches out and lifts him up. Do you know what this teaches us? That even when our faith wavers, even when fear tries to drown us, God is there, ready to hold us, ready to remind us that the struggle between worry and faith only exists because we are still trying to fight alone. But there comes a moment when everything changes. A moment when we stop fighting and begin to truly trust. There comes a moment in every human being's life that is painful but necessary. It's when we come face to face with the stark truth. We control nothing. You can make incredible plans, save every penny, train your body, study non-stop. But in the end, you don't control whether you'll wake up tomorrow. You don't control what others will do. You don't control the economy, the weather, your boss's decisions, or the health of those you love. It's vulnerable and scary to admit this, but it's also liberating. Because when you finally accept that human control is limited, you stop wasting energy trying to hold the world in your own hands. Think about it. How many nights have you lost sleep planning things that never happened? How many ulcers, how many anxiety attacks, how many gray hairs have sprouted from trying to control the uncontrollable? Divine control has always been there, but we insisted on playing God. Proverbs 16:9 sums it all up. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Isn't that beautiful? You can plan, yes. You should be responsible, yes. But the one who is truly directing is God, and he sees things you don't see. He knows which doors need to close so others can open. He knows dangers you avoided without even realizing it. So what do we do with this discovery? Do we despair? No, we find rest. Because if I am not in control, but trusting in God means surrendering to the one who controls everything, then my role changes completely. I am no longer the commander fighting alone. I am the son who walks hand in hand with the Father. And the most incredible thing is that this Father is not distant, cold, or indifferent. He is loving, involved, and present in every detail. Isaiah 41:10 tells us, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And when that becomes real in the heart, something extraordinary happens. God is in control. 3 simple words that change absolutely everything. It's not just a pretty verse to put on the wall. It's the most powerful truth you can internalize. When it finally goes from your head to your heart, when you truly believe and live it, a gigantic weight is lifted from your shoulders. Because you realize, I don't need to have all the answers. I don't need to foresee all the problems. I don't need to carry the world alone. God is our security and he never fails. Think about the difference between driving a car with the handbrake on and driving freely. Many people live the Christian life like that, believing in God, but still holding the handbrake on the controls. I trust in God, but I'll have my plan B, C, D, just in case. I'm not saying to be irresponsible. I'm saying there's a difference between wise planning and anxiety disguised as prudence. When you truly understand that God is in control, you do plan, you do work, but without that constant tension, without that paralyzing fear of what might go wrong. Because you know that even if things go wrong, God can transform them into something good. Romans 8:28 isn't just empty hope. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. You know, since we're here together on this journey of faith, let me make a quick request. If this content is touching your heart, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. This helps me a lot to continue sharing these truths that transform lives. Thank you. Going back, the discovery that God is in control doesn't mean passivity. It means inner peace in God while you act with purpose. It's different. You don't stand still, waiting for everything to fall from the sky. You work, pray, seek, but without that suffocating anxiety. Because the ultimate responsibility isn't on your shoulders. It's in the hands of the one who sustains the universe. But understanding this in your mind is one thing. Living it in your daily life is another. Surrendering your future to God seems simple, but it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, because it demands surrender. And we don't really like that, do we? The word surrender sounds like weakness, defeat, but in spiritual language, surrender is strength. It's having the courage to open your hands and say, "Lord, I can't carry this anymore, it's too heavy. I trust that you know what you're doing, even when I don't understand." Imagine you're carrying a backpack full of stones. Each stone represents a worry. This is the fear of losing your job. This is anxiety about your health. This is uncertainty about relationships. And you walk through life hunched over, with aching back, but refusing to let go. Because deep down you think, if I let go, who will hold on? If I don't worry, who will take care of me? The answer is God. He has always been ready to hold it, but he respects your free will. He doesn't forcibly snatch the backpack away. He waits for you to surrender. And when you finally surrender, when you make that prayer of total surrender to God with an open heart, something supernatural happens. 1 Peter 5:7 teaches us, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." Do you see? Cast. Not just hold on a little and give a little. It's casting everything, it's throwing it far away. And the reason is beautiful, because he cares for you. He cares. He's not up there indifferent to your problems. He takes care. I've seen people cry when they finally understand this and put it into practice. It's liberating in a way that words can't describe. Trusting in God's plan becomes easier when you realize that He has never failed anyone who truly trusted Him. Not even once, not even you. And from this delivery is born something that the world cannot manufacture. There is a peace that makes no sense, a serenity that doesn't fit the circumstances, and it comes when God calms the heart. It's not the kind of peace that depends on everything being resolved. No, it's that inner peace in God that remains even when bills are unpaid, even when the diagnosis is bad, even when the relationship is difficult. It's the peace that Paul describes in Philippians 4:7, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Do you know the secret? This peace doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from the presence of God. That's why it can exist in the midst of chaos. It's like being in a house during a storm. Outside it may be thundering, windy, raining heavily, but inside you are safe, warm, at peace. God is that house. Serenity in God doesn't mean the absence of problems. It means divine presence in the midst of them. I remember stories of missionaries who were imprisoned, persecuted, and went through terrible things. And what shocked their persecutors? They sang in prison. They had peace in suffering. That's not madness. It's the supernatural peace of God. When you are connected to Him, when you trust that He is in control, your heart finds a safe haven that the storms of life cannot reach. And this transforms everything. Your relationships improve because you are no longer projecting your anxieties onto others. Your work becomes lighter because you don't carry the weight of the world. Even your physical health can improve because stress is a silent poison that makes the body sick. The tranquility found through Christian faith is not mysticism. It is real, tangible, transformative. Jesus said in John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." The peace of the world says, "Relax when everything is resolved." The peace of Christ says, "Relax because I have already resolved it, even if you don't see it yet." And this peace teaches us a new way of living. Jesus was direct. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34. Living one day at a time with God is not spiritual laziness, it's wisdom. Because when you try to live tomorrow today, you end up living neither. You get stuck on a timeline that doesn't exist, worried about problems that may never happen, while real life passes you by unnoticed. Think about it. How many times have you been anxious about something that never happened, that problem you were sure was going to explode in your face, and in the end, it never even appeared? We waste so much mental energy, so much peace, so much joy because of ghosts. How to deal with anxiety and faith starts right here, by bringing the focus to today. Do you have a roof over your head today? Be grateful. Did you eat today? Be grateful. Did you breathe without difficulty today? Be grateful. When you learn to see the blessings of the present, the future loses that terrifying power over you. It's not ignorance, it's trust. It's knowing that the same God who cared for you today will care for you tomorrow. And there's something interesting. When you live one day at a time, you have more energy for what really matters. That conversation you need to have, that project that needs attention, that hug someone needs to receive. You are present. Not physically present while your mind is 2 months in the future, but truly present. Birds do not plant, harvest, or store in barns, but God feeds them. The flowers of the field do not labor or spin. Yet not even Solomon in all his glory was dressed like one of these. Jesus used these images in Matthew 6 to show if God cares for them, how much more will he care for you, who were made in his image and likeness. And in this rhythm of daily trust, something profound happens. The world offers 1,000 ways to rest, but none of them truly rest the soul. You can take a vacation, you can sleep 12 hours straight, you can disconnect from social media, you can go to therapy, you can try meditation. And look, there's nothing wrong with those things. They help. But there's a kind of exhaustion that vacations can't reach. An exhaustion of the soul that only God can heal. It's emotional rest in God. Jesus extended an invitation that transcends centuries and reaches you now. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Matthew 11:28-29. Do you see the beauty in this? He didn't say, come when you are perfect. He said, come when you are tired. He doesn't wait for you to fix your life first. He calls you just as you are, tired, broken, without strength, and he promises rest, not a superficial rest. Rest for the soul. The peace that comes from the Christian faith is unlike anything else because it doesn't depend on external circumstances. You can be in the midst of the greatest struggle of your life and still have this inner peace because it comes from the certainty that you are not alone, that there is someone infinitely greater carrying you. Have you ever noticed how a child sleeps peacefully in the back seat of the car while their father drives? They don't yell, "Dad, watch out for that car. Be careful on that curve. Do you see the traffic light?" No, they simply sleep because they trust. We need to learn to be that child again, to rest in the Father's arms while he guides our lives. And from this rest comes a clarity you've never had before. Have you ever had that feeling of being lost, even while you're in motion? Like you're doing things, working, running around, but deep down, you don't know if you're on the right track? When you finally surrender control to God, something fascinating happens. You begin to perceive his direction, not with maps and GPS, but with peace, confirmations, doors that open, doors that close. God guides the path of those who trust in him. Proverbs 3:5-6 makes this clear. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your paths straight. It's interesting. The verse doesn't say you'll understand everything. It says not to rely on your own understanding. Sometimes God closes a door that you were sure was the right one and you get confused, upset. But months later, you look back and think, wow, if that door had opened, I'd be in a terrible place right now. God sees the whole game. You only see the play of the moment. So when he guides, even if it seems strange, even if it doesn't make sense at the time, trust him. Because hope in God is not blind hope. It is hope based on his track record. And his track record is perfect. I've seen so many stories of people who lost their jobs and thought it was the end of the world, but that was exactly the push they needed to find something much better. Relationships that ended and seemed like a tragedy, but were actually a blessing in disguise. Illnesses that brought purpose. God guides us through paths we would never choose, but that always lead to where we need to be. And you know what's the best part? When you let him guide you, you stop forcing doors. You stop trying to manipulate situations. You stop wearing yourself out, trying to make things happen on your timeline. You act wisely, yes, but you rest in his sovereignty. And in that place of guided surrender, miracles happen. And then comes the revelation that changes the perspective on everything. Here's the moment that revolutionizes everything. You look back and realize that while you were desperate about the future, God was already taking care of it. Think about the times you stayed up all night worrying about something, and the next day, things worked out in a way you never imagined, or what you feared didn't happen, or a solution appeared out of nowhere. That wasn't luck. It was God working behind the scenes while you were worrying in the audience. God takes care of tomorrow while you live today. He is already there, preparing the ground, moving pieces, opening paths, closing gaps. Isaiah 46:4 brings a beautiful promise. Even to your old age and gray hairs I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. Do you know what's fascinating? God doesn't just take you to the future. He carries you. It's not you dragging your life along, trying to survive each day. It's Him sustaining you, carrying you, delivering you. How to overcome spiritual anxiety? By understanding that God cares for you in such a complete, comprehensive way that even the tomorrows you haven't yet seen are already under His care. This completely changes the way you live. You stop trying to predict every scenario. You stop creating 50 alternative plans out of fear. You stop living defensively, waiting for the next tragedy. And you begin to live with hope in God, with lightness, with the confidence of someone who knows they are being cared for by someone who never sleeps, never fails, never forgets. Remember the story of Joseph? Sold into slavery by his own brothers, unjustly imprisoned, years of suffering, but God was taking care of his future. And when everything was revealed, Joseph said to his brothers in Genesis 50:20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." God transforms, God uses, God cares. And when that truth takes root in the heart, a complete transformation occurs. Living under God's control is not losing freedom. It's gaining true freedom. Because freedom isn't about doing whatever you want without consequences. True freedom is living without the crushing weight of anxiety, fear, and insecurity. It's waking up in the morning, and even with challenges ahead, having the spiritual confidence that you're not alone on this journey. God is our security, and that changes absolutely everything. A life under divine control doesn't mean problems disappear. It means you face them with a different perspective. You don't panic at the first difficulty. You don't crumble when plans change. Because your foundation isn't in circumstances, it's in God, and He is unshakable. This is reflected in how you make decisions. Before, every choice was a huge burden. What if I'm wrong? What if I choose the wrong path? Now, you seek wisdom, you pray, you ask for guidance, and then you act with peace, because even if you make a mistake, you know that God can redirect you. Romans 8:1 assures us, "Therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." And there's more. Your relationships become healthier because you stop trying to control people. You stop demanding that everyone around you behave in a way that doesn't disturb your peace. You understand that true peace comes from within, from the presence of God, not from perfect circumstances or perfect people. You also begin to see purpose even in difficulties. James 1:2-4 teaches us, "My brothers and sisters, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth when you trust that God is in control, and this new life has an unshakable foundation. So here we are, at the end of this journey of discovery, but at the beginning of a new way of living. Tomorrow is already in His hands. It always has been. The difference is that now you know it. Now you live from that truth instead of just knowing it theoretically. And that's the difference between religion and relationships. Religion knows facts. Relationships live reality. Every time worry knocks on the door of your heart, and it will knock because we are human, you will have a choice. Open the door and let it in, or remember that God is in control and close the door with confidence. Total surrender to God is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice, a choice renewed each morning. And here is the promise I want to leave engraved on your heart. Jeremiah 29:11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has plans for you, good plans, plans of hope in God, and these plans do not depend on your ability to control everything. They depend on His faithfulness. Imagine living like this, waking up without that tightness in your chest, facing the day with serenity in God, working with purpose but without paralyzing anxiety, relating to others with ease, sleeping peacefully, knowing that while you rest, God works. This is not utopia, it is the invitation that Jesus extends to each of us. Psalm 46:10 sums it all up. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, stop, breathe, and acknowledge He is God. He is in control. And if He is in control, you can rest. Tomorrow is not a threat when you understand that God is already there. The future is not a dark abyss when you know that the Creator of the universe is guiding your steps. Don't worry about tomorrow, literally, because the God who cared for you yesterday, who is caring for you today, is already caring for your tomorrow at this very moment. So take a deep breath, open your hands, let go of control, and rest in the arms of the Father who never fails. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment about how God has been working in your life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content that will strengthen your faith. May the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Amen.